Yo, what is up guys, it's Accept and welcome back to another League of Legends video. Today we're gonna be doing a Gangplank guide for season 11 where we will be covering his best runes, his best build, what Gangplank does and what his role is in a team fight, and also some barrel combos at the end. Anyways, I hope you guys are gonna enjoy it, but let's get right started with the abilities and what he does. Gangplank's passive is called Trial by Fire, and it makes it so that every 15 seconds Gangplank's next melee attack will be empowered and ignite the opponent that you attack, which deals true damage over time. When you destroy a powder keg or a barrel, it will refresh the cooldown of Trial by Fire. And if you auto-attack an enemy twice with Trial by Fire, you will proc the ability twice and deal double the damage. Gangplank's Q is called Parley, and it's basically a ranged auto-attack. It does not proc Trial by Fire, but it does proc other on-hit effects like Grasp of the Undead or Sheen proc. When you kill an enemy with Parley, it will drop Silver Serpents that you can use in the shop to upgrade your ultimate ability. It also gives extra gold. Gangplank's W is called Remove Scurvy, and it's pretty much a heal that also removes crowd control from you. You can only use this ability on yourself. Gangplank's E is called Powder Keg, and it's basically that you place a barrel on the ground which you can later on attack to deal AoE damage and also slow the enemies in a distance. You can attack Powder Keg by either auto-attacking it or by using your Q Parley on it. If you use Parley on the barrel, you will also get the Plunder Gold from the last hits on every enemy you killed with Powder Keg. Enemy champions can also attack Powder Keg, which will then neutralize the barrel. You can also chain your Powder Kegs together to create chain explosions or combos. Gangplank's ultimate is called Cannon Barrage, and all you do is basically place a large circle on the ground where if enemy walks into it, they get slowed and take damage over time. This ability is global, and it can also be upgraded in the shop using Silver Serpents that you get from your Q. Alright, so that was it for the abilities. Now let's move on to the builds and runes on Gangplank. For the runes, you're gonna want to take Grasp of the Undying as your keystone, Demolish, Second Wind or Bone Pain depending on the matchup, and then Overgrowth. For your secondary runes, you're gonna want to go with Inspiration, go Magical Footwear, and then Biscuit Delivery. If you want to, you can change Magical Footwear to Time Warp Tonic, but I personally prefer Magical Footwear in most matchups. For your bonus stats, you're gonna want to go with Adaptive Force, and then either Armor or Magic Resist depending on your matchup. For the build, there are quite a few options that you can go with, but I'm gonna give you guys my preferred build and what I feel like you can never go wrong with. For the mythic item, you're gonna go with Triforce as it is the best item on Gangplank. It gives all around really good stats that you really like on the champion. The mythic bonus and everything is just great on him, and there's really nothing else to be said. You can also, if you really want to go Divine Sunderer, but I wouldn't recommend it as the Sheen proc on Divine Sunderer doesn't proc on your barrels, so you lose a lot of damage in teamfights. You're also gonna want to build Triforce first, before anything else. For your second item, I like to go with Stark's Gage, followed up by Ravenous Hydra. For the fourth item, I would recommend you going Gangplank Chainsword, as anti-heal is really good on Gangplank since he has so much AoE damage, but if you feel like you really don't need the anti-heal this game, then you can also go for GA and then go Gangplank for the fifth item instead. For your boots, you can either go Ionia Boots of Lucidity, Plated Steel Caps or Mercury Treads, depending on what you prefer and what's best for the game that you're playing. Now that we're done looking at the runes and builds, let's look a bit on barrel combos that you can learn to use in your games. There are really only 4 barrel combos which you need to learn and that there are to learn. First barrel combo is a simple barrel combo where you just place one barrel, you place the next, you pop the first one and the second one explodes. There's not really a lot going on in it, it's really just the basics that you need to know, but it's also gonna be the one that you're gonna be using the most in your games as it's the most efficient way to use your barrels. The second barrel combo that we're gonna be looking at is the triple barrel. What we're gonna do is gonna place one barrel, we're gonna place the next one, we're gonna pop the first one, it's gonna explode into the next one, and then we're gonna place the third barrel. Let's go over it again so that you guys understand what I mean. We're gonna place the first one, we're gonna let the HP on the barrel tick down, we're gonna place the second one, we're gonna pop the first one, and then we're gonna place the third one as the second one explodes. This will not only increase our speed that we can place the barrels on, but it's also gonna greatly increase our range on our barrels. This can be used a lot of the time to catch enemies off guard or to reach enemies with greater range. Third barrel combo that we're gonna be looking at is the ghost barrel, or the two-part. And basically what we're gonna be doing in this one is popping one barrel and then immediately placing the next one so that they both explode at the same time. Or at least you place the second one as it begins to explode. So what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be placing one barrel, then we're gonna Q when we're out of range. Once the Q animation begins on Gangplank, we're gonna place the second barrel. Note that it is very important that you use your Q outside of your maximum range of the barrel, so that Gangplank starts walking in towards the barrel and then you place the barrel as you Q. Otherwise it will not work. If you do it correctly, you should end up with something looking like this, but don't be too mad at yourself if you fail it at the first time. It's a pretty hard combo to do, and you should probably practice it a few times in practice mode before you try it in a real game. The last barrel combo that we're gonna be looking at today is probably the hardest one. It's basically the triple barrel combo again, but this time we're gonna be auto-attacking the first barrel instead of queuing it. This makes it a lot harder, as we're gonna have to do it around 10 times faster and almost instantly as we pop the first barrel. It's a very hard combo to do, and I would recommend you practicing it a lot before you try this in ranked. Even I sometimes can't even do it because I haven't practiced this enough. Otherwise, this barrel combo follows the same principle as the triple barrel combo, but you just have to do it faster. Now let's talk a bit about how you want to play as Gangplank in a team fight and what role you want to have in your team. During team fights you want to play mainly as an ADC does. You want to protect yourself basically at all costs at the same time as you DPS as much as you can. It's really fine with this build to play front to back, so you just hit the front line constantly, but it's also fine to look for barrels in the back line if you can reach it. Because of the build we're going, we should be able to both deal a lot of damage and also be fairly tanky, so we shouldn't have too much problem hitting the enemy front line a lot of the time. Our ultimate should be used to hit as many enemies as possible, and preferably to be used in a way where the enemies that don't have too many dashes and are really vulnerable to slows should be standing in them. So if the enemy ADC or enemy mid laner or something like that don't have too many dashes, let's say you're facing an Orianna or you're facing a Saya, place the ult on them, they're gonna be really slowed and they're gonna have a really hard time to play the game. Anyways guys, this was it for this guide video. I hope you guys enjoyed it and learned something. If you did, please leave a like, and if you want to see something else or something more similar to this content, leave a comment down below saying what you want to see from me. And anyways guys, I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for more.